And on that note, I guess we'll go ahead and start taking some calls. We've got Jackson in Pasadena, Maryland. How are you?
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Living. And before I get into the meat and potatoes of my call, I'd like to make a remark. I watched just last night your debate against Cy, and I gotta say, you are too humble when you describe your debate. You absolutely destroyed him. And I gave Cy a good chance, but he not only just went after you personally, he didn't address the topic at hand either in his opening statement or on his first rebuttal. He was just horrendous.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. I'm glad some people appreciate it.
Yeah,
especially since it won't happen again.
And to get what I want to talk about, I'm growing up around religious people, as many atheists do, and I get the question a lot. So what if religion's wrong? It promotes all this good stuff. And watching your show a lot and doing research on my own, I think I've got the appropriate answer. Now if someone asks me that question, I say, because I care about the truth and I care about what is right and what should be understood. And I feel like that's what you would respond to.
Sure. Yeah. It's something we've talked about quite a bit. And also, as we were just pointing out, these ideas are potentially harmful. They impact what other ideas you're likely to hold and what sorts of things you're likely to support. Voltaire had famously said that if you can get people to believe absurdities, you can get them to commit atrocities. And for a lot of people, they just think, well, religion it's this innocuous thing, and it tends to support good works and make better people. And I'm not convinced that that's actually true, or that it's actually true in any meaningful sense, that you can't do the same encouraging people with secular humanist values and things like that. But anyway, you had a question.
Yes, and to get to the question I called about, my mother asked me, do you believe Jesus existed? And as much as I want to say no, I don't see a good reason to deny it, other than there's just the Bible, there's just, religious texts saying it. And I remember when I was going through Sunday school, I had a really good teacher. He wasn't trying to, brainwash me or any of that horrendous stories you hear. He was actually, on multiple occasions, sat down on him one-on-one and told him I don't believe. And again, he didn't brainwash me, but he led me using critical thinking. He led me to my own conclusions. And he said that there are, at the time period, well, my question to him was, why are there no other historical accounts? Like, during Jesus' time, why were there not historians writing about him, say, in Europe or England or wherever at that time? And his response was, there were. But the problem with that was, he was referring to the Bible. And I just wanted your opinion and your response to, do you believe Jesus existed?
Well, he's wrong. Because we don't have any contemporary accounts to support anything about the life of Jesus. Even the Gospels weren't written as contemporary accounts, and we don't know who wrote them. Richard Carrier has a new book out on the historicity of Jesus, where he uses Bayesian analysis to determine the likelihood that Jesus existed. To me, I don't really care. I mean, it would be interesting to find out. I don't have a problem with the idea that there may have been a real person at the core of these stories, but I don't have a problem
with the idea that the person existed. I just don't accept that the zombie Jesus, Superman Jesus existed.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's enough evidence to support the zombie Superman Jesus model.
Yeah. Yeah, I personally don't. I guess I would fall kind of slightly in the mythicist camp, very slightly in the mythicist camp. So I think, for me, it's more likely that Jesus was a myth.
Should I be mouthing along with your words?
I don't know. We seem to, oh, there's our camera. Okay. But,
I'm Jen's puppet.
But part of that is the absence of any mention of him outside of the Bible, and the fact that the Gospels were written, long after his life and the purported events of his life. To claim, clearly the supernatural events didn't happen. And if you look at the mundane things, aspects of his life, again, I'm kind of with Matt. It's like, who cares? You know, they're so trivial. It's just like that could be any number of itinerant rabbis in that part of the world at that time.
The important thing for me is that, let's say that the person existed and that we have an accurate record of his words and some of his deeds. What does that tell us? I mean, even if the accounts were actually completely accurate, and you had good reason to believe that somebody walked on water
you can't
and
verify
fed,
it. Yeah, you can.
even if you had good reason to believe that somebody walked on water and raised the dead and died and was crucified and resurrected, you still can't come and justify or reason why. Maybe it was God, maybe it was some powerful technology,
right.
But we can't get anywhere near that far. And what seems most telling to me is that, for Christians, if Jesus didn't exist, then it's very clear that everything about the religion is false. And so while we can't demonstrate, the idea that we cannot demonstrate reliably that he did exist is a huge problem. I mean, you would think, first of all, it doesn't make sense to me that there'd be a God who'd have this important message and then relay it through texts and hearsay accounts from people that you don't know, that you can't investigate, you can't confirm thousands of years afterwards. But to leave it even an open question as to whether or not this person existed or whether or not we have an accurate representation of the life that he supposedly led, that to me is, as much confirmation that this is false in its theology as anything. What kind of silly ass God are they believing in that he can't offer confirmation? What's wrong with, why couldn't God show up right here and demonstrate to everybody? I mean, the Atheist Experience.
I know, and whenever I take your position as well, I'm an atheist as well, by the way, but whenever I say that to people who are trying to, not convert me, but trying to make me understand as they understand, they never have a straightforward, they always go to that, it's God's plan, it's God works in mysterious ways, all that scapegoat responses.
Yeah.
I had lunch with somebody this past week who, we had this same discussion. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and have an open invitation to any God, not just the God of the Bible, any God that would like to demonstrate the truth of its existence is free to come on the Atheist Experience and share this with the world. While it's not necessarily the same as showing up on a major cable program or broadcast television, it'd be a much better start than any of them have apparently bothered to do. So you're welcome.
Yeah.
We would be happy to have you right here in a third seat, maybe just kind of overlapping, and we'll shut up and let you explain what it is that people need to understand and how and why we should accept that you're God. Jackson, thanks for calling. I appreciate it. Well, we're going to move on to some other callers now.
All right, Chad, thanks so much. You guys are awesome. Spaghetti Monster be with you.
And he is. And also with y'all, which is my favorite bumper sticker of the week. Somebody had a bumper sticker that said, and also with y'all, which almost makes me wish I went to their church, but not quite.